So my name's Quinn Lyness and stuff. So I'm the founder of the Canadian Track and Field League. I created it about just over 3 years ago. From now, so we're in March now. So I created it in January 2022, and it'd been kind of like a passion project, I guess, of mine for years, just like internally. I'd never written anything down, even before creating it and stuff. The reason why I felt like it was necessary to be created was to bridge the gap between track and field, which is a super popular sport when it comes to the Olympics, and then the, I guess, everyday fan that kind of wants to see that content potentially produced, not just during the Olympics. And like the reason why like I was thinking about creating a league was, it's like, hey, like if track and field is really, it is the most popular sport when the Olympics are putting on, like that, those like 7 or 8 days, those are generally like the most viewed, and it's the most viewed program. And then it just dies afterwards. So it's like, okay, like something is clearly wrong here. Like if there's something that one of the biggest events in the world, beside maybe the FIFA World Cup and stuff, like the second most viewed sporting event, and then it just kind of dies off. Like, why is that? Especially in North America. So I've been thinking for years on how to kind of like develop a system that would enable more fans to be engaged with track and field throughout the year, not just during an Olympic year, but during kind of like an off year, so to speak. And I came up with, especially in North America, we're very team focused, creating a team-based league, kind of off of Formula One. So bringing that individual kind of athletic side to a team event to hopefully kind of cater more towards the North American fan or style of viewing, which is like, I'm a Montreal Canadian fan, so I'm gonna like definitely be a diehard like Habs fan for the rest of my life. And yeah, so that's kind of how it came to be, like the idea, and then I launched it, and it became fairly successful, and we're just kind of continuing to grow it at this point.
Cool. Yeah, no, that sounds awesome. And I get your point where it's like not even like all of track and field. Like, it's like the 100 meter is like the most like crazy event for, you know, a week. And then it sort of like pitters off. Um, but from my experience with like track and field in Canada, just being an athlete myself, um, the system that we have right now is like typical like clubs. So it's club level, whether you're like high school or, post collegiate or collegiate in the summertime. You sort of have a club system where clubs are their teams and they go compete throughout Canada and sort of build up to like the national championship or the Olympic or world championship trials. I'm just wondering, from a guy outside looking in, what is different about the CTFL and what makes that, I guess, unique in terms of its ability to do things compared to the club system that we already have?
Yeah, so I think what's unique about the CTFL is that we are, well, first of all, created by an athlete. So I am still like a competing athlete, not to the same degree as most of the
Yeah.
CTFL athletes. But it was also created like with a very like fan focused kind of view. So like I think in order for our athletes to be successful, like one of the biggest issues in our sport is just like athletes are not paid enough. And no matter how fast we run or how far we jump or how far we throw, or how high, but like no matter how like astronomically impressive some of these feats are, especially within Canada and stuff, like athletes are not going to be able to generate that like income that they need to unless we have the fans that are kind of backing them. Right? Like, just like that's why like NBA players getting paid like $50 million contracts, like even like NHL players, which is like a sport that hasn't grown that much compared to the other big four leagues. They're getting paid like 11 million, and it's just because like how much the sport has grown with fans. So like, yeah, LeBron's like older and like there's some very impressive players, but like you kind of need that base to then generate income to then pay for. Like it's entertainment, and that's what maybe we're missing as a sport, and what the clubs and like say like Athletics Canada and stuff is missing. Like their focus is to help develop athletes to perform better. Our objective is to assist athletes by building a platform that they can then utilize, to make income, and then hopefully then get better, right? Like if we're growing the sport, if we're able to invest more into the athletes, better equipment, better facilities. I say that with my facility in Ottawa being torn, like in shambles right now. Like we had a dome and it's gone.
Don't you guys have like a 400-meter track?
Yeah, we have
No.
4 year track, and it's like it fell apart
Oh,
but 2.5 weeks ago. So like we're without a dome. So it's like, and this is the only place in a city of like over 1 million people that you could go really train at effectively. So now we're in like a concrete like slab basically of a barn. Like we're in a barn with a concrete slab, and that's where we're
I
training.
know, like the grotto. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the situation. And so that's kind of what we do a little differently. It's like we put the fan first, but in reality that is putting the athlete above all else, because like you need that underlying support to help the sport grow.